Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. I'm going live. Okay, so I went live earlier today and told y'all something that happened in my life earlier today. Well, some news that I got. And for the most part, pretty supportive, pretty okay, hearing what I got to say. I wasn't actually saying it and talking about it for my benefit or, to vent or get it out, nothing like that. But I was doing it because at a certain point, people got to understand that, for you people who might wind up in the same situation, this is how it might go. That's pretty much the gist of it. But here's the problem. You got a lot of people, who everybody's gonna have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But sometimes people give their 2 cents about something and they don't really pay attention. And sometimes people give their 2 cents about something and they don't know what they're talking about. And sometimes people give their 2 cents about something and they don't have enough experience to say anything. So in life, you're going to get a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. It happens. It goes with the territory. But some of you folks out in the world, how are you Monday morning quarterbacking when you don't even play? See what I'm saying? Like you don't even live that life. So, well, I would do this and I would do that. No, you wouldn't, because you don't even want to get yourself involved in that. And I'm saying that even if it's a positive or a negative thing, some of you folks don't actually live your own life. You're not really living. You know what I'm saying? You're not really experiencing anything. You're more afraid of what's going to happen and actually going out and if something good happens, taking the risk of something good or bad happening. You don't live like that. So sometimes y'all get annoying. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some people, you say things and like, this person needs to do this and needs to do that. What are you talking about? Did you not hear what was just said? You know, like some of y'all, and I get it. It's social media. You put your business out on social media, people gonna respond to it. I definitely get that. But some of y'all don't have any business to even understand and talk about business in the first place. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna use all of this stuff together. Like when we talk about the whole, let's just do the dating and relationship thing. Some of y'all have no business talking about what you would or wouldn't do in dating or relationships because you don't date and you're not in relationships. Period. It's just all hypothetical. Let me tell you what I would do in that situation. You would never, you're doing what you would do in that situation. Nothing. Because you're too scared to even get in the situation. See what I'm saying? You're too scared to say, hi. You're too scared to say, hey, let me get your number. You're too scared to say that stuff, so shut up. If it goes good, shut up. If it goes bad, shut up. You just Monday morning quarterbacking, but you don't play. And you never play. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes people, want to be know-it-alls and they don't know nothing. It's like, okay. And sometimes people, they don't know anything, but they fish for information. Won't you tell me? Well, let me see. See, tell me this. Tell me that. Okay, if you told me that. See, what I would have done is, no, you wouldn't. You just a bum who looking for a hypothetical scenario to go off you with because you wouldn't do something. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up why a lot of the social media that when it comes to life and life experiences, why in one way it's entertaining and why in another way a lot of people gravitate to people who you can tell haven't lived any life experience. Because a lot of y'all in fantasy land. That's what it is. A lot of y'all just in fantasy land. Like y'all play that game where, you know, in my mind, I'm the star of my movie. And in my movie, nothing will ever happen to me. In my movie, I'm the hero from the beginning to the end. And I blow up everything. And bullets bounce off of me. And I fall off of 150-story buildings and land on my feet and never hurt my ankle or knees. And you know what I'm saying? And my clothes are never wrinkled. It's like, shut the fuck up. Because when people ask, like, what's a real scenario, you don't know what to say. And what I'm saying about this, like the disingenuous part, is this: a lot of people online gravitate to people who you can tell are obviously disingenuous and scam artists. You can tell that. But you like hearing that because it makes you feel good. Let me tell you what I would do. I would do what this other guy said in a book. I would do what my favorite rapper says in a song. I would do what my favorite movie star and my favorite character in the movie would do in that scene. That's what I would do. And people go, yeah, me too. That's what it is. And then it's like, okay, well, put that into practice, huh? See what had happened was, see how I tripped on the concrete because it was racist. I tripped on the concrete because it was fat phobic. I tripped on the concrete because it was reverse racist, and that's why I didn't even go in that direction. It's like, come on, dog, come on, man. Like, you know, like I used to tell this to my friends. You know, we used to clown about, let's just say, simple things like I tell people, we laugh about, back in the day you get into a fight. And people will go, man, they would have never did that to me. I would never got hit. It's like, yeah, you would have never got hit because you'd have never got in a fight. And if you got into a fight, you would have never fought. You would have never fought back. You'd have never been self-defending yourself. You would have never went on an attack. You just talking. Oh man, that'll never, nobody ever gonna hit me in life. Well, you never gonna be in a fight in life, buddy. You know what I'm saying? That's like people who, man, would nobody ever slam me? Have you ever wrestled? No, but nobody would ever slam me. That's because you'll never wrestle. Everybody gets slammed. You get what I'm saying? When you hear people talk about business, you know, I would never get in a bad deal ever. Ever. No bad deal would ever happen to me ever in business because you would never do business, dog. That's why. You would never be in business. You never intended to start a business. You never intended to be in a business. You never intended to do any deals in the first place. You're talking, you know. To know the difference between a good deal and a bad deal, you have to be in a good deal or a bad deal. You know, to know the difference between somebody who's a stand-up business person and who's a scumbag, you might have to deal with those kind of people. And experience will tell you sometimes people are better at hiding being a scumbag than you think. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because some people got caught being a scumbag early on and they started to, not, I can't do this, I can't do that. So they cleaned up well. But you don't deal with it, so you can't. That's why people get meticulous with business. Like, let me check all the boxes before we go down this road, because there are people who would check enough boxes to look good, and they go, okay, this is a good deal, and then they walk away and they wind up getting screwed. But some of y'all, I can see that a mile away. No, you can't. No, you can't. You know, so life experiences teach you. Like we all have gut instincts. We all have understanding what right and wrong. But the one thing that you don't have is you don't have control over what people do and what drives people and what makes them do right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? So know-it-alls don't know it all. Like sometimes you can meet pretty good people who get in a bad circumstance and throw you under the bus. You have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. You know, nothing. And you come to find out in life, like a person to say something like, yo, my bad. Look, it wasn't you. It was this, that, and the third. What's happening? That's why that happened. I was getting pressure from this direction. I was supposed to be 100 with you, but I flaked out on you. My bad. In some ways you be like, I don't care if you flaked out or not. We done. In some ways you be like, all right, man, I get it. But you got to have those experiences. So it's hard to be, that's why people take advice from people who've actually been down that road. Now, I will say this. I think, and it's kind of weird because in society, if a person has a track record of being a bad human being, I understand even if they have experience that you might not want to listen to them because you might not consider yourself a bad human being if they got a track record of doing slimy stuff, right? They could be giving you advice and it could be good advice, but it's like, because you a slime ball, I don't know if this is actually advice when you good advice for me if I'm doing the right thing, because you might have did the wrong thing consistently, and you trying to tell me from a slime ball's point of view. I get that, but at the same time, you got people who, in essence, they they'll do the right thing, and people go, "I'm not taking that advice," and it's like, okay, because I'm gonna do it this way or that way. And they used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And that's the issue sometimes with know-it-all. Sometimes, you could cover all your bases. You can cover all your bases. And you know what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? Well, that's cold-blooded about a job, but that's what he did. But you can cover all your bases. And it don't work out that way. It's called an audible, man. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and things in life they call it audible. You can do all the right things and get the wrong response. That happens, you know. And you see in life and on social media, some people do all the wrong things to get the right response. But here's the issue. That's not the end of that story. And that's the issue sometimes when saying with know-it-alls. That's not the end of that story. Like, something good can happen to a bad person, or something bad can happen to a good person. That ain't it's over with. No, that might just be the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people don't get what they ask for, and it's protection. And then they get what they ask for, and they have a freedom and peace with it. And sometimes people get exactly what they ask for, and it crushes them. So a lot of times we get in this mode where you Monday morning quarterbacking, but you're not taking into consideration the long term effects of life. So they tell you, life is what you make it. What you trying to do? What you gonna go out there and do? And some people it works for. Man, Darwin, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. You know, and it works for you. But other folks, it's like, I can't help you. Like, I use this as a reference. Um, they used to tell you, when I was younger, focus on your technique when you do things. So that could go from anything from athletic to artistic to, in some ways, an academic, or the way you do things. What's happening, right? And appreciate it. Um, when they tell you to focus on your technique, a lot of people have this issue where they don't practice it, and they don't work on it, and they want to do it their way, the way that they want to do it, like their own special way. And 95% of the time, doing it your way without the technique doesn't work. But the issue is, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna be in the heat of battle when it's not working for you, and and then you get that 5% of people that focus on technique, and they're doing the right thing in the right place at the right time, and good things happen because they were focused on the technique. They got it right. They got all the little things right, and people don't realize it, but a person who gets all the little things right a lot beats the person that does a big thing a small amount of times. So whether it might sound more entertaining. Let's just use it as a fighting reference. A person who's got a good jab and good defense, is probably gonna beat a knockout puncher. I know, and everybody's like, but it's only that they only got to get that one punch. That's the problem. That's a problem because that means, you looking at it like they got 36 minutes to land one punch, but that's not true. Because if they meet somebody with good jab and good defense, they might be too tired by the fifth round to ever have what it takes to land that punch. See what I'm saying? That's the issue that goes along. It's like, oh man, they're winded, they're tired, they're beat up. It's like, you got to chill out. Right. Practice one move 1,000 times versus 1,000 techniques one time. You're like, come on, get it together. And that's what happens. It's like, oh man, And if y'all ever watch, uh, like I said, what was gonna happen in the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight. I was like, yeah, he gonna lose because he only got one punch. And if y'all ever watch fighting, Tank Davis is a southpaw, which means he leads with his right hand. Ryan Garcia is orthodox, which means he leads with his left hand. And his favorite punch was a left hook. So all Tank had to do was circle him right. Just go to the right. The reason why you walk to the right is because, if I walk to this hand that's in front of you, and you try to throw a hook, you got to put your hand out here, and I can either see it coming or it's gonna take some steam off of it. It ain't gonna hurt. So if I take that away from you, what you got? Nothing. That comes from working technique and experience, right? But people who want to be a know-it-all go, if I'll walk left and it'll be a problem. No, you're gonna walk into the most powerful part of that hook, you idiot. But you a know-it-all, but you until you actually have to do it. When you hit in the heat of battle, it's when you find out it's the wrong idea, it's too late. So online, unfortunately, you get a lot of people who do the know-it-all thing. Like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. No, not really. We're all out here experiencing life, you know. So my phone rang. I'm on the phone right now, so whatever. But we're all out here experiencing life, and when somebody exactly a so if you out here experiencing life and you telling people, okay, this is what I learned from my experience, this is what I learned from that, da 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 da, this what goes on. Some people could take it and learn from it, and some people could critique it. And either way is fine. But I think a person would rather hear, like me personally, I would rather hear critique from somebody who's actually going to be actively trying to live, not a hermit. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times, Seahawks versus Patriots, run the ball. You know, sometimes you got to know, what life has in store for you, whether it be a positive or a negative. And a lot of times people can't take the good with the bad. And in my opinion, and here's for me that's a true statement. I've never been afraid to put it all on the line to win. I've never been see, I'm not afraid. I don't like losing, but I really don't take L's like that. And one of the reasons is since I ain't afraid to lose because I'm trying to win. And I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, but when I took losses that shortened up my ability to lose. So I've been down that road before. I lost that on that one. But here's the thing, I got a backup plan. You know what I'm saying? I don't have just a plan A for anything. This is this is plan A. Plan A don't work, plan B. Plan B don't work, plan C. Plan C don't work, plan D. Plan D don't work, plan E. So at the end of the day, my long-term goal is gonna get met because guess what? I'm a, I'm I've learned in life you gotta adjust. You gotta be smart enough to go, okay. I lost a battle, but I can still win the war. So cool. Okay, let's put that one aside. But some of y'all don't want to lose a battle, and you're not even in a war. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a long term goal. You don't have a short term goal. So to me, that's a problem with some people like want to know it all. Like you don't. What are you trying to do with yourself? I'm just not. I'm not taking no losses. Well, you got to risk. What do you say? No biscuit, no risk it. You know what I'm saying? You got to put yourself in a line of fire to win anything in life. Even if you wanted to win a lotto, you got to spend $1 or $2 to buy the ticket. It's got to cost you something. You got to take a shot in the dark. Do you really want to win? I want to win, but I never want to buy a ticket. Well, you're never gonna win. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people are know-it-alls. They're in that scenario like, I'm going to win, but I'm never going to play. I know all the numbers every week, but I'm never going to play. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a foolish thing to do, but I know all the numbers. And see, that number was my number. I hit if I would have played. See the next one? I hit if I would have played. You see the next one? I hit if I would have played. Let me tell you something. If I'd have played all the numbers in my mind that just happened, by the end of this week, I would have, you know what I'm saying, uh, uh, I would have $572 million. And next week, I know the numbers too, but I'm not going to play again. It's like, but I know them all. And it's like, well, you stupid. Because a lot of people act like they got the cheat code. And what the cheat code is really experience. Like, common sense could get you far in life. It very much so can. But, you know, I say this, like, back in the day, when I was in high school, I saw guys perform. Exactly. I saw guys perform, and I was like, I can get on stage and do that. And it sounded nice. You know, I would watch performers on TV. That's all they do. I could do that. You know, I've listened to people watch people make songs. Oh, because I can repeat it so easily. Oh, I could do that. And then years later, I started making songs, and you know, it ain't as easy. It ain't that I can do that. Now, when the pressure's on you to make it, it's like, oh, then you see where you messing up. Then you see where you have you got your cadence may be off. Then you see where you can be better with a certain cadence. Then you see where you need better breath control. Then you see where this part is good, but that part sucks. Let me rewrite this. Let me rewrite that. So sometimes, you know, people say, "Oh man, this took 5 minutes to make." Let me tell y'all something. When it comes with stuff like that, a person is great like that probably has been making music for years, and then they get in the groove. And when they get in the groove, things take 5 minutes to make. But some of your greatest songs could have took 5 minutes, and some of them took 5 months, 5 days. You just hearing a 3, 4, 5 minute version. You see what I'm saying? And then the same when I stepped on the stage, I was like, oh, okay. It ain't as easy as it looked. You gotta have stage presence. You gotta keep the people, you know, in line. And then I started watching what do you call that? Stand-up comedians. Just like, cause it's kind of like sometimes in life people are hecklers. Like, oh, I tell jokes, I'm funny. We'll get on stage and put the mic in your hand and see how funny you are. Then it changes. Then, you know, all that kiki, my homeboy think that's funny. Well, the crowd don't. There's 100 people in here. You got to get them all together on the same page laughing at the same thing. It ain't as easy as it looks. Just because somebody makes it look easy because of all their experiences, they've bombed numerous times. They've worked those jokes out and routines numerous times. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, this joke worked, that joke don't. I got to tweak that joke that don't work. Okay, now it worked. That joke worked. This joke worked. Now that joke. Now I got to put it together. You know what I'm saying? So now I can move from this one to this one. Okay, and then they build a set, 5 minutes to 15 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour, and then you go, oh, okay, they funny than a mug, but that might have took 6 months to do. So a lot of y'all, you know, y'all see a lot of finished products in life, and you go, oh, you know, I know I could do that because I seen them do that. Great people make hard things look easy. Don't you ever get that twisted. I remember working out with a guy back in not even back in the day. I could use my son as an example. Oh, I could do that, and then showing him the intricacies of doing something. It's like, oh, they got to do this, and then this. It looks like it's all fluid in one motion, but it's not. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, okay, listen. For all of you people who think like when you're playing, say you're playing football and somebody throws a bomb and you're the receiver, all y'all see is somebody running straight line and they running fast and oh I could just run real fast and catch a ball. That's not what they did. That's not what they did. Y'all don't know the difference between a guy who has to take an angle and a guy who how can I say this, set up a fade or set up a or set up space and a separation and a route. And he was like, okay, I got to get open by the 25 because if I get open at 15 yards, if I get open in a 15-yard mark of this 40-yard pass, the DB is gonna catch up. But if I get open at 25 yards, it's gonna be harder for him to catch up because we're moving faster. And then I got a little space. Y'all don't know the difference between stacking a person. And what I mean by stacking somebody, if you run a goal, you try to stack a person, which means if they're on the line, you get off of them on the line, inside or outside. But once you pass them, you kind of you try to stand in front of them to cut them off from running you down. So now they got to run directly behind you. And if you can't stack them, you kind of get in the way a little bit so they can't actually so they can't run in a straight line to catch up. So when y'all see people chasing somebody, normally it's because they have to take some kind of angle because they've cut them off. So now it looks like, oh, he just ran straight real fast and the other dude just couldn't keep up real fast. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Y'all don't understand the angle that had to be made, the angle that had to be made for the space, and the angle that the guy needs to take to cut the space. Somebody messed up on the angle, so somebody screwed. So, but people go, oh, I could do that. It's like, and then when they run, they realize, why is this guy all on me? I thought all I had to do was run faster than him. But if y'all run about the same speed, then that's not true. You know what I'm saying? If he run a 4.4 and you run a 4.4, guess what? Y'all gonna roughly run the same doggone speed. So y'all gonna roughly get to the same place at the same time if y'all going in the same direction. So what can you do to get 2 steps ahead? Or half a step ahead, a step ahead? You got to cut them off. That's why when y'all watch these football games and these guys going deep and you seeing the receiver doing this and trying to push him off, that's because he ain't getting no space. So now I get to push you off at the last minute and catch the ball and act like I did something. You get what I'm saying? But know-it-all is like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, he was open. No, he wasn't. The quarterback just knew the rules. If I throw it to the receiver deep, he can push off and still catch the ball, and there's no penalty. Now, if the cornerback pushes off, then it's going to be a penalty. So it's a win-win situation. And the reason I brought that as a reference is because sometimes you cats that are know-it-alls don't understand that some people are trying to win in a lose-lose situation, and some people are trying to win in a win-win situation. And which one you think is more difficult? Trying to get a win in a lose-lose situation. So if the cards are in your favor and you win, you should have won. But if the cards are not in your favor and you won, you shouldn't have won. So you did something spectacular for that moment. So when people go, yeah, I know what I'm doing, I know this, I know that, that's not true. A lot of know-it-alls don't know it all. You know what I'm saying? You just don't. That's why I brought up like the relationship thing. Like nobody asks guys, how do you approach women? I don't. Okay, so you don't know how to approach women. I just don't do it no more. No problem. You got guys who, and I was watching something earlier. I think it was Dee Dee. She had a panel on her channel on a live, and there was a guy who was married like 22 years trying to tell young guys what's wrong with the dating market today. And it's like, that means you was married in like 2001. Completely different dating market now, buddy. So what worked for you in 2000 to get married in 2001 does not necessarily work today. But people like, the exception doesn't make the rule. And a lot of times when people are know-it-alls, they always want to be the exception. And when and the problem with being an exception is, and I hate to say it this way, being an exception to the rule doesn't actually make you a winner. In this sense. If you, like I used a lotto reference. If you lost 150 times when you played the lotto and you won 1,000 times and you played the lotto and you won one time, it probably makes up for all those 1,000 times you lost. Real talk, because it could be millions of dollars, right? So you're a winner because you're the exception to the rule. But if in regular day-to-day life, you take losses on a regular basis, doing something and then you win, but you just don't win big. You just won that time. Then you've taken far your losses, outweigh your wins. And for a person who probably they had more small wins, and then they took a loss, their wins still outweigh their losses. So just because you're an exception to the rule in your win, that don't necessarily make you a winner. You get what I'm saying? You might have got lucky that time, or it was finally your time to win or whatever. But if it doesn't outweigh the losses, you're not really winning. You're not really an exception. You get what I'm saying? So counting dollars and cents. You lose $10,000, but you won two. I'm a winner. You know what I'm saying? When I play, I win. No, bro, you still down 8 grand. You're a loser. If you would have won 11, you'd have been up one. That's a winner. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes people take that mentality to trying to be a know-it-all. Like that one time I did something. It's like that's not how life works, bro. It's not how life works. We're taking over to the 99 to the 2000s. So sometimes people got to take into consideration, man, being a know-it-all don't really, you know, is an issue. Because some of y'all are reaching. Some of y'all are really reaching. Like some of y'all trying to see stuff in people that's not there for whatever reason you got. You know what I'm saying? you know, I, I see violence in you. Are you serious? I see evil in you. Okay, well, if you see violence in me and you see evil in me, and we got a room of 10 people, and you're the only one that see it, then maybe your eyesight is off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your eyesight is off. I know what I'm talking about. Do you? Do you? Maybe you're good at hiding it. Maybe it's just not there. Kind of like, I used to say when I was younger, you could really make a person angry if you keep asking them, why are you upset? Why are you upset? What are you so angry about? And it's like a person's like, what are you talking about? And if you keep repeating it, they're going to get angry. And it's like, see, I knew you was upset. No, you antagonizing me. You know, but what winds up happening in life is if somebody gives you the, why are you upset? Why are you angry? And they go, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. And they go, yes, you are. And it's like, okay, all right, then bye. I'm going to get out of here because you think I'm angry and upset. I'll go somewhere and be chill like I'm chill right now. And then that person follows you and like, why are you leaving? Why are you angry and upset and so upset you're leaving? Now, when that person knocked you across the floor, you go, see, I told you I was angry. No, I'm leaving. Stop following me. You don't look, man. If you think I'm one way, cool. But if I'm getting out of the picture and you chasing me down to prove that point, hey man, you got a problem. But sometimes we don't look at it in that framework. So like you don't know it all, you know. And part of the content that we make online, is you know in some ways acting like a know-it-all. Like this happens. Now, like if I've seen a situation or been in a situation, it's easy for me to talk about it. It could be this, it could be this, it could be that. But if I've never been in a situation or seen a situation, I'm not really going, nah, nah, no thanks. Because I could be, because if I give my opinion, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. So sometimes when you play the know-it-all game, you don't put in the premise that, what, I could be wrong on this though. Because if you got enough experience to know that sometimes you got things spot on and sometimes you're off. And that's one of the other things about, our society where just like this stuff is alive, you pop in, you hear a few words, and you think you know everything that went on. And then you might say, well, why don't you say this, this, this? And somebody goes, yeah, I already said that. And you go, I didn't know that. Because you just showed up. So if you just showed up and you say, why don't we talk about this? Because that's what you want to hear right now when you just showed up and somebody's already talked about it. And you go, oh, my bad, I didn't know. Okay, now you know, shut up. Don't add something to it. Well, won't you say it again so I can see, so we can talk about it this way and that way? Why don't you talk about it for yourself? Since you know it all, because a lot of times people are know-it-alls and when they dead wrong, they don't go, my bad, I was wrong. They just go on to the next thing. So, you try to create a situation to make you right. And once you get into the habit of, being a know-it-all and not knowing it all, and then being wrong and trying to create a situation to make you feel right, you pretty much went into crazy. You pretty much went into delusion because now your issue is, you're addicted to trying to be right at all costs. And when you're trying to be that becomes a big problem. So, what time is it? I'm gonna see a Bernard live right now. So let me start to get up out of here, man. I just wanted to say that, keep it short or whatever. But like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.